Do you feel superstition?
No.
But
I don't feel it's a Stevie Wonder song.
and do you have objections to other people's superstition?
Ah, so okay.
Step on a crack, break your mother's back, or
very
if you hear your
superstitious.
ear ring,
The writings on the wall. The Stevie Wonder song is the same idea as the New Hope, Star Wars: A New Hope. So
yeah.
That's how it's born. It's born from hope, which is short of belief.
So hope to you is superstition, and
oh, if it stays as hope, it is.
Oh, okay. Do you believe in a God?
I believe that we call God is the same as the number one. It's a creative force, and it permeates all. It's the same one who Jesus called my Father, as all of my Father.
Do you want to be religious?
The idea of religious is the idea of asking questions, I guess. So, the idea of a framework of paradigm of just a lot of roads that lead to nowhere, that don't have logic. There was a band called Blink-182, and you can sit down with the Bible and you can do this, Blink-182, and you know every little bit of it that's true, and every little bit of it why the author wrote what they wrote. It's very easy. They make it complicated. Now that's called a trolley, when you can pick up the wavelength just from a little word that you heard. And then, wow, if you really can pick that up, then, I mean, I've always known that. My whole life was the process of lessening the dampening and the depression to the point where I could see I was always right all along. Everybody was always right all along.
I should mention
eternal nature's.
I should mention that most people see religion as like rituals performed at certain times, certain places, with certain movements of the body or certain spaces or whatever object they project this magic.
Okay, so the word that you call ritual, I would call archetype. Archetype is a pattern theme. And as you follow where you want to go, those themes will find you there. So you enter you become an archetypal hero in your own story, and then the rituals will be points of initiation.
So then, are you searching for these archetypes?
I'm finding these archetypes by the questions that come to me, by way of learning to use vibration, by taking what is consciousness within us and actually drawing a map of all that is around us. Then you can begin to string together your own cadence of aha, aha, aha. And the universe is always expanding because these ventures that we find ourselves in always have a mathematical solution, which is reciprocation, which is E equals mc squared, how the universe tends to function. So you can think of M as the aleph in Hebrew, the conscious thought, and then the C squared is the idea of the bait, is the idea of being dual, as being the person reflecting into that become together to become energy.
Are human beings meant to be deeply spiritual?
Yes, and of course it's the Pisces archetype. It is where we detach and we all go home and we are eternal and we have connections to those dimensions that are beyond our repertoire of unlocked thoughts. From the perspective of being a little baby and vibrationally sifting out what other people have found and what we ourselves have added to those questions. Those big, powerful questions in the universe that can make buildings go up, can make structures go down, can make a well-oiled machine for all of humanity.
Do you want to escape the world?
I like it here. I like the idea, or again we said the game, from the consciousness perspective, reflecting through me, Andrew, that you could go into any situation and there there will always be a loophole, there will always be a cache of consciousness to find exactly what you're looking for with what you explore. So you can go, as long as you don't have any belief systems, definitions, shape definitions, that when you go all out into a situation, that the answers won't find you very, very shortly after.
Are you poor, and why?
I am rich with the abundance of my body, of using my mind. I think now we slip to think. Within the DNA, slip from know to think. Within the DNA code, so these were questions that I haven't had experiential falling off a cliff. I haven't climbed the Capricorn Hill where these questions were. But all disease, the idea of how you use your life, your DNA reflects it, and any resistances that get caught in there become manifestations of pain and unhealthiness. And it extends more than just this lifetime. So why little kids might come in. Now the idea isn't to say that the little kids were asking for it. The idea is to switch the question to, once they come in, can we meet them from where they are, to make this no longer part of what the conversation is. So if you flip the paradigm on its head and you start to navigate the world through different understandings and different words, then you won't have the same consequences.
Are you a victim of something, and why?
I am. Well, the idea of victim consciousness is getting caught and being made dull. And there's 2 people in the world, and then there's 3 people in the world, and there's 4 people in the world. So the idea of being jealous relates back to the 10 Commandments, which is saying, I'm God, why don't you pay attention to me? And that's why people get on the rage.
But what about bullies and attackers and so on?
Well, the bullies
day to day,
would be reflecting the idea that they're looking at the parts of themselves that they aren't up to speed with. Remember, I'm Andrew and you're Chris, and we have to play these parts for the little show that we have to put on while we're here. And once you're able to streamline the plumb line of Israel, once you're able to find your core resonance, your core vibration, and then from there you start to make a matrix around you. The Sabian symbol, 1 degree, Scorpio, a crowded city bus, and a bunch of tourists.
Do you like God, and why?
At the end of the day, the ideas that permeate the rise and ascension in the religious ideas, I'm always going to stand up for, because they're matches, they resonate. I like God.
Do you feel special?
Yes.
Are you receiving a revelation from God?
The revelation is what is... The seed was in the plant the whole time. The revelation is understanding from this small person. So far we've had people on the moon, and we've sent some spacecraft out to explore the local galaxies. But the dampening and the depression that is on society being pushed down, and the idea of going into your friends and then reflecting to try and fit in and be hipster cool with them. Ways of reflecting from the outside and saying, I think you'll like me now. Whereas there's the other way of going around and say, look how much I found out, how far I've circled, and then coming back and saying, well, look how far that I circled, and then the process of collaboration and putting all that data together helps each other speed up vibrationally to a faster pace where all the answers are. I think we should be able to travel, be able to travel at light speed. I think we are severely limited in what we figured out. But then again, we can look at the glass half full and say we're on our way. Actually, we're there. We're there, and we are in the same trolley, in the same wavelength that's going to allow light travel.
I forgot to ask you the other part of that number 16 question. Do you feel special? But why do you feel special?
Why do I feel special?
Yes. Do you feel like you're privy to something?
Because other people have shared my specialness.
And what kind of specialness is it? How do you know how to find these people that are like you in this special, unique way or whatever?
The idea of law of attraction, the thoughts and the frequencies match up, and then you just say hi.
What does God look like?
You and me.
Okay. So you're with that whole belief about that we're all creators, essentially, or that we're all like past reincarnations of something at a higher frequency.
And the image of Elohim created him, man and women.
Okay. Would God want you